You're listening to the Manning Up on Real Estate podcast with your host, Cameron Manning. We bring you the industry experts each episode who will help you man up on your real estate career.
It wasn't that long ago that people would line up overnight for a chance to buy a presale condo in Metro Vancouver. Presales were like concerts, buyers fighting for units, investors flipping assignments before the buildings were even built. Well, those days are over. Long over. Presales have collapsed. Projects are being delayed or scrapped entirely. And developers and project marketing companies are laying off staff. And if you think this only affects the new home market, you're wrong. This slowdown is going to ripple into the resale market, our housing supply, and the future of real estate in this province. And in this episode, we're going to break it all down for you. So stay tuned. Thanks again for tuning into another episode of the Manning Up on Real Estate podcast. And yes, we are going to be breaking down exactly what is happening with the presale market and how it's going to affect the entire market, but not just real estate, but many industries as a whole. We're going to break down what's actually happening so you guys stay fully informed. So keep tuning in, and thank you so much for joining us again. According to BC Business, the high-rise condo market in Vancouver is in a free fall. Presales are down more than 50% compared to 2023. And compared to long-term averages, they're off by about 60%. This is not just a soft patch. This is a full-on crash. Investors are walking away from their deals and just foregoing their deposit at this point. Developers aren't hitting the 60 to 70% threshold required to secure financing. So in most cases, construction isn't even starting. And the few launches that are happening, well, they're pulling in half of the sales that they used to. So what's behind this collapse? Well, there's obviously several things. Firstly, inflation and high interest rates have made borrowing expensive for both developers and buyers alike. The cost of construction materials has gone through the roof since the pandemic, and government fees and levies now add up to $60,000 or more per unit in some cities. And investor confidence has just truly dried up. Rents have stopped climbing like they were in 2022, and property values just aren't shooting up anymore. So really, there's no short-term upside to presale investing right now. And that has truly changed everything. And of course, now we're also seeing the human impact. In May, Rennie Group laid off 25% of its staff, which is over 30 people. Then in June, West Group followed by cutting 12% of their team. And those are just the ones that we know about. Developers, architects, contractors, everyone in the pipeline is feeling the pressure now. We're talking an industry that represents around 10% of BC's GDP. And if this slowdown continues, there will be more layoffs, more downsizing, and the construction boom we've relied on for years, it's going to completely stall out. Now let's talk about some specific projects that you might have heard about and what's happening to them. The Curved Tower by Brivia Group, the tallest passive house in the world, looks like it might never get built. Tangerine Developments in Surrey just switched a 379-unit condo project to rentals, and West Group followed suit, flipping a new Westminster project into 294-unit rental using a CMHC loan. And why are they doing this? Well, because rental financing right now is easier to secure than presale financing. And well, developers are just trying to survive right now. Even landowners are starting to feel the pinch. 22% of land sales over $5 million this year were actually court-ordered. That's double last year's number, and we're seeing the distressed sales, and more are going to continue to come. Now let's talk about property transfer tax revenue in the province of British Columbia. The collapse of presales puts over $2.2 billion in annual property transfer taxes at risk. That's $1 billion, BB, money the provincial government actually relies on. That's money that's earmarked for services, not just roads, but schools, hospitals, social support programs. And there's no sign of replacement funding. And unlike other sectors, this doesn't come with tax credits or subsidies. Now, if we compare this to other sectors, such as Ontario's automotive sector, which historically has received billions in bailouts, both federally and provincially. And then in BC here, the film and TV industry, Hollywood North as it's called, gets permanent tax credits, huge production supports, and even some tariff protections. Meanwhile, the real estate industry is facing rising municipal fees, speculation taxes, more red tape, and the government plans are unwilling to roll back the built-in housing-related taxes. However, developers aren't taking this lying down. They're pushing back on government policies and fees right now. Earlier this summer, some of BC's biggest names, including BD, Westbank, Cressy, Intercorp, Westbuild, all signed an open letter to the government. They asked Ottawa to lift the foreign buyers ban. They say it's cutting off vital capital and is damaging long-term housing supply. Municipalities are also under fire too for high fees and red tape that has slowed down approvals. Now, the province has responded in small ways like freezing some fees and they've extended some timelines, but the damage, it might already be done. So, what happens next then? Well, less presale activity today means fewer completions in 2 or 3 years. This means less supply on the market when the next demand cycle hits. Some experts predict we'll see a severe inventory crunch by 2027, and that could push prices and rents even higher. Ironically, it's the opposite of what the government wants. At the same time, fewer home sales equals less property transfer tax revenue equals budget shortfalls for the province. This isn't just about real estate, it's about jobs, it's about revenue, and it's about long-term housing stability. So what should agents, buyers, and investors all take from this? This crisis isn't temporary. It's shaping the long-term affordability and the livability of Metro Vancouver. If you're a realtor, focus on education. The market is changing fast. If you're a buyer, this short-term dip might be an opportunity because inventory will get tighter later. And if you're an investor, be cautious. Don't check out entirely. If the government remains uninterested in supporting this major sector, the result is less housing, fewer jobs, and weaker GDP, and a lot more uncertainty. This matters, and it's worth paying attention to. Markets shift, but real estate cycles never stop. This is a pivotal moment for Metro Vancouver, and the effects are going to be felt for years. So, make sure you stay tuned. And of course, if you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on everything that's happening when it comes to real estate in Metro Vancouver, and of course, updates on the economy. And don't forget to like and comment on this video and maybe share it with someone who should really know what's happening right now. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.